Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I thought I would just discuss about pros and cons of TERS. Hopefully it'll help for those who are thinking about putting TERS as the first choice for your program preferences. So I'm just gonna go through the pros first and then cons, and then my experience in working in one of the TERS center, and then my thoughts about North Wales, as I've been living around North Wales for quite a while. Starting with pros, the first is obviously money. £20,000 is quite a lot of money, and it's quite nice to have an extra. You can use it for a lot of things, buying new house, car, kids childcare, visa, and it definitely has helped me a lot, so I'm sure it will be helpful for you too. And it actually, who else gonna give you just £20,000 and you get money, but you're still getting the same training. Second is due to the location of the TERS area, because it's kind of outskirt area, it tend to be less busy, so less stressful lifestyle, less hectic, no traffic. So those are the kinds of things that I've been enjoying, especially as got a big family. If you're driving, you won't tend to be stuck in traffic, so it's easier to get to one place from the other. Third is people tend to be nicer and more friendly in the outskirts area, and this actually, it makes the environment work and living there less stressful and quite nice to be. And people also might tend to be less demanding depending on the location, obviously. Fourth is a good teaching program, and because there's less trainees, so there's the supervisor have less number of trainees under them, and you can have more focused teaching. So I think most supervisors tend to have only one trainee under them. Some people have two, but most of them only have one trainee under them, so quite easy to get the workplace placement assessment done as well for your training. I presume work probably would be less busy than working in the bigger cities because of less people in the rural area, and I'm sure because cities normally there will be densely populated regions, and normally it's much busier working in the bigger cities. It's usually beautiful depending on the location, but most of the TERS area tend to be beautiful in the beaches or a lot of mountains, and you can actually pursue a lot of outdoor activities like kayaking, hiking, climbing, whatever you fancy. So it's kind of quite beautiful. Just to live for 3 years, it's nothing. So let's go for cons. So cons is obviously you would have to move to the area, so this might present problem, especially if you're a big family. Then you have to change your children's school, your partner have to change workplace, or they might have to travel a bit further, so it might be more difficult to move if you're a big family. But if you're single, then probably this doesn't apply to you, just you have to move. Second, learning to drive and having a car is quite desirable, because in the outskirts the public transport is not as efficient as in the bigger cities, so it might be less frequent if you're waiting for a bus. And if you have a car, then it's much easier to get from one place to another. The supermarket also might be located about 10-15 minutes away. It depends on where you're about. I mean, for example, in North Wales, the further you are, like from England, the further things are from one another, so easier for you to have a car. And also in the outskirts there's less options compared to bigger cities. Like probably in the bigger cities it's easy to find all different types of supermarket, but in the outskirts there's only like a few big supermarkets and just like a small number of small supermarkets. It will be a new area for you if you have not been there, so you might need to explore the area a little bit once you're there. Although in GP training you tend to be located in all these new places, so you will need to explore anyway, especially when you're doing home visits, so Google Map is the best friend. And fifth is living in a rural area might be too quiet for your liking. It is quite quiet, serene, idyllic, peaceful. I mean, depending on what you're looking for. If you don't like the quietness, then probably it's not for you, but if you do like those sorts of things, then TERS is definitely best place for you. If you're single, then you will find it a bit more difficult to meet people, because there's just not a lot of people around the area. However, I found that when I was in TERS, like the further outskirt I was, the closer knit community, like we are closer to our colleagues, we tend to go out for dinner together in the same department or same level, but not like as I go more towards the city, people tend to have their own life. So it depends really, even though it might be more difficult to meet people, but you will be closer to those who work with you in that area just because all of you are the same boat. So my experience of working in one of the TERS area. So I've been working here since 2017 and I like it. I've been working in the area before joining the GP program. So I've stayed here since I moved here, and that's why I chose to do the GP training here because I quite like it. It was my first choice. People are more friendly here. The environment is nice. The workload is manageable, and it's not as like outskirt as I would thought. It's only next to England. There's a lot of choices of supermarkets. There's big retail parks. So certain places of TERS, even though it's TERS, it's actually quite nice. So depending on what you choose. So this place is I think just half an hour to go to Chester, an hour to reach Manchester, Liverpool. So it's not too far. I can go there every week. And also for children, like the school are nice. It's good teachers, and my children are quite enjoy going to the primary school here. They have quite nice schools here. It's also a beautiful place, and it's still near to North Wales. I can easily get to North Wales for about half an hour drive and easily get to the beach. So kind of quite central, easy to go to Wales and easy to go to England. So this is just a quite nice area, just centrally located for North Wales. And the GP training here, I have been enjoying the GP training program here. The training director is very, very nice, very flexible. The teaching program is great. Every week there's just very good teaching program every Thursday afternoon, and then we also have this full day teaching like palliative care or safeguarding, just like once every few months, depending. Sometimes it's like depending on the timetable really. At times we do combine teaching with other parts of North Wales, like with a Bangor scheme and also with the rail scheme. So all of us are having teaching together. But obviously online. Supervisors are also very nice here. They're very kind, very helpful, approachable. They just want you to be successful. Every week we will go through our portfolio, making sure that we do all the requirements, and they will give feedback on how we are performing. So I have enjoyed my work here. And even in the work setting, in the GP and home visits, patients themselves are very kind, very helpful, very nice. So obviously I've worked in 3 different practices. Currently I'm in the 3rd practice that work here. So each practice has their own like different kind of population. So obviously the central Wrexham area is quite is a bit more densely populated because it's kind of in the center of Wrexham itself, and then the rest of the 2 other practices, they're quite a bit outskirts, so the more elderly population, but they're very, very nice, very friendly. I think I was in Mole at one point and it's so beautiful working there. Obviously home visits kind of like 10-15 minutes drive to go to patients' houses, and the road are very small, so it depends. I mean, I drove a small car because I like it's much easier to park and stuff, but you would have no problem. Patients are very kind, very friendly, very approachable, and even in the area itself, people we work with in the practice, very kind and friendly. So I have been enjoying myself. So my thoughts on North Wales, I've been to all 3 parts of North Wales. So I've worked in rail as well. I'm currently working in Wrexham, and Bangor, I've been in like Bangor a few times. So Wrexham, just like I mentioned before, great. I'm enjoying it. That's why I've been staying here since 2017, so for the past 5 years. Rail, I've worked in rail, like it's kind of my first job in the UK, so I worked there for 2 years during my foundation program. It's very beautiful, very near to the beach. It's kind of like central of the North Wales, so it's not too far to get to England. I think around 1 hour drive, so we do sometimes drive to England. And also because of the location, when I was working there, we tend to have a small group where we normally go out for dinner, have dinner together sometimes. So it's quite nice. But I do find that as we go up in the medical ladder, like for F1, F2, like we do tend to like spread out, not as close as we were during our foundation program years. And then Bangor is the furthest away. I've only been there once. It's very beautiful. It's also like closer to the Anglesey. I've been to the hospital for teaching. People are very nice, and I think people have said that in comparison of 3 hospitals, Bangor is the least busiest. But with the GP, I'm not really sure. I don't have experience, and actually I don't have any friends doing Bangor GP at the moment, so I can't give opinion on that. But it is definitely beautiful. People are friendly and it's quite quiet as well. So hopefully this will help you make choice about program preferences, and definitely I'm happy to be in the TERS program as well. It's definitely helped me a lot. I know that some people have found it helpful, especially like with visa fees or childcare fees. So if you want to watch more videos, I'll put down the link for my GP training, just about salaries and how the training program goes. And see you then. Bye.